Okay, so let's read about the army. It was the Roman soldier who made Rome powerful. Fighting in enormous armies, he conquered all the territory that was to become the Roman Empire. Roman soldiers were well trained, well equipped, and not easily frightened. In a battle, you'd want them fighting on your side. So, soldiers' equipment. Rome's soldiers did not just fight, they built roads and bridges too. As well as his shield and sword, a soldier carried many other useful things. Altogether, his kit weighed about 30 kilos. Soldiers would be expected to march 27 kilometres a day with this load on their backs. Although they had mules to carry the leather tents and the millstones they used to grind their corn into flour. I wonder if you know what a mule is. So there's an example of a Roman soldier. He's also got his bronze mess tin that he would eat out of, his helmet, turf cutter, I wonder if you know what that is, sword, javelin, a wooden picket, a stake, shield, water kettle, and his bedding. So the structure of the legion. A small Praetorian Guard protected Rome itself, but the main fighting forces were the Roman legions, 30 or so mini armies trained for conquest abroad. Legions were made up of 5 to 6,000 foot soldiers, legionaries, who fought in 80 strong groups called centuries, each commanded by a centurion. An officer called the Tribunus Militum commanded cohorts of 6 centuries, and there were 10 cohorts in a legion. That sounds a bit confusing, doesn't it? It's getting a bit complicated now. Sports and games. Just as we do, the Romans loved spectator sports. They were obsessed with the chariot race, supporting one of the 4 teams, red, green, white, and blue. Slaves raced light chariots drawn by 2 or 4 horses round a vast 600-metre racetrack at breathtaking speeds. It was very dangerous, but a skilled driver became a hero and could earn enough in prizes to buy his freedom. Another favourite Roman pastime was games, Munera, battles to the death between gladiators, warrior slaves, in a vast, specially built stadium. The fights were staged by Rome's wealthiest people to show off their fortunes or to win votes in elections. Gladiators often killed their opponents, but if the loser in a battle had fought bravely, the cheering crowd could demand that his life be spared. The winners, like chariot drivers, became celebrities. When simple gladiator fights began to bore the audience, novelties were introduced, such as battles with animals, the fiercer the better, or naval wars in the flooded stadium. Oh dear, sounds awful. How do you think you would feel if you were Iliona and you'd gone to one of those gladiator fights? Religion. Roman people prayed to many gods. In early times they had worshipped the spirits of the natural world and of their dead ancestors. Later they came to admire Greek religion and merged their own gods with those of Greece. The Greek god Zeus, for instance, became the Roman god Jupiter. Rome's priests worshipped all these gods in 100 or so temples in the city, and ordinary Romans joined in festivals each year. But religion could be a private affair too. Every house had a little shrine where people prayed to a small statue of the family spirit. There were similar statues out of doors, particularly at crossroads, where the poor and homeless prayed. As the empire grew, so too did the interest in cults, the worship of foreign gods. When Christianity spread to Rome, it seemed at first like just another cult. However, more and more Romans joined the Christian church, and by the end of the 4th century AD, Christianity had become Rome's official religion, replacing all others. Technology. The Romans invented many things that brought lasting practical benefit to large numbers of people. We still use lots of them today, just like concrete. Long before Roman times, builders bound stones together with mortar, a mixture of lime and water, which became hard once it was dry. But Roman engineers mixed mortar with a special kind of sand from the town of Pozzuoli, and so invented concrete. Rammed into wooden moulds, concrete set as hard as rock. Water supply and sewage. As Rome grew, so did its thirst. Public fountains on every street corner gushed with fresh, clean water. To keep the supply running, engineers built aqueducts across the countryside to carry channels of water from the springs as far as 90 kilometres away. Rome also had a basic sewage system. Privies, lavatories, and sinks drained into pipes beneath the road outside. These emptied into the Great Sewer and then into the river. Central heating. Thanks to Rome's climate, houses rarely needed heating. Public baths, though, needed to be warmer. They were heated by furnaces built on outside walls. Chimneys drew smoke from the furnace through channels under the floor and behind walls, called a hypocaust. This system was like modern warm air heating. Other Roman things we still use. Roads. There's a diagram there of the layers of the road. So to speed the marches of Rome's legions, soldiers built roads as they went. First, they surveyed the routes, planning an arrow straight path across suitable land. Next, they dug a pair of trenches to keep the road between them dry and free of mud. The road itself is built in layers like this. At the side, you've got a trench for rainwater. At the top, you've got stone slabs. Just below that, small stones mixed with cement. Below that, tightly packed gravel, and then at the bottom there, they've got large stones. Books with pages are a Roman idea. Previously, people wrote on long rolls of paper. Many of the laws that govern how we live are based on Roman laws. Parliaments with two houses follow the pattern of the Roman Republic. Romans measured their months by the moon's shape, which makes a round ball every 28 days. All of us write with the Roman alphabet, though the letters J, U, and W were added much later. Many of the words that we use every day were originally in the Latin language that the Romans spoke. So in that sentence that I just read, the words originally and language are Latin. Roman masons arranged half circles of shaped blocks to hold up wide openings in walls without cement. Arches are still used to build stone bridges and to make grand doorways and light windows. A ring of arches creates a dome, a roof like an upturned bowl. The Romans built the first huge dome and, ever since, architects have used them to keep rooms free of supporting columns. Now, that is the end. It goes on to a timeline of Roman history, but I'm not going to read that because I'm going to challenge you to create your own timeline of Roman history. I hope you enjoyed.